Hey everyone, I'm Jay Heilman, host of Kingdom Builder TV, and I'm joined by my co-host Kelly Meade, and we have a special treat for you today. Live from the Capitol Christian Music Studio in Nashville, Tennessee, we have Brothers of the Heart, and from left to right, we've got Jimmy Fortune, we've got Mike Rogers, Bradley Walker.
Hey there.
And of course, the handsome Ben Isaacs there on the end with the cowboy hat.
Whoa.
How are you guys doing today?
Oh man,
Great.
Good to be here.
Well, we're so happy to have you guys join us today, and we're here to talk about this brand new debut project from you guys called "Listen to the Music." And Kelly, I believe you got some questions for these guys. What questions do we got for these guys today?
All right. Well, hey guys, it's so great to talk with you today.
You too, Kelly.
You each have had great careers, so to see you guys come together as Brothers of the Heart is such a special thing. So it's obvious how much fun you guys have together. It's plain to see that when you're performing. This is your second project with Gaither Music, and what I'm curious about is how you guys first decided to come together as a group.
Well, it started out, Mike would always play downtown. And then he invited me to come play along with him, and we started working that way. And some of the Gaither people had come down and watched us play, and they're like, hey, you need to work on getting something together because this music is too special. And we talked about it, and I wanted to involve Jimmy and Bradley into the mix just because Mike and I had sang on Bradley's records and Mike and I had sang on Jimmy's record. I knew how we sounded together, but to have Bradley's bass tone in the middle of all that and his exceptionally great lead singing, and just to have that low baritone, I mean, he's just awesome. But it just worked out. We got together and thought, okay, let's see what we sound like. We gathered in my living room and we sang for about 2 hours straight.
Yeah.
And we just knew it was special. We just knew it was.
Yeah. We just
That's awesome.
These old songs, these cover songs, and just let the recorder go. And then we kind of went back later and listened to it. We were like, man, this sounds pretty daggone good, And first and foremost, we were friends. We were genuine friends of each other. Yeah. We were genuinely respected each other and each other's career and the things that we've all been blessed to do in this world, to have music and then come together with friends like this, be able to share it with people. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
For sure. So in January, you released the brand new project, as Jay referenced, called Listen to the Music. So both your Brotherly Love album and this new one are really enjoyable. And like, as you were talking about, they have such a wide variety of the songs that are so well loved that so many of us grew up with. And Listen to the Music especially has some of my favorites with Gentle on My Mind and the title track and Ring of Fire and the hymn of Just As I Am. Love hearing you guys sing that. I know it can be hard to choose, but what are each of your favorite songs on this project?
Oh man.
Well, I can say mine. Mine is I got actually two really. Precious Memories, which Mike sings, and then Just As I Am. They really reach out to me because of it being. I started in gospel music. That was my first love, and the message in the music. And of course I'm a big fan of each of these guys. And of course, Gentle on My Mind really hits me. That's Ben singing that. He owns that song.
Yes.
Each of these guys, they really do own the songs that they sing because they believe what they're saying, and that's just some of my favorites. I don't know about any of you rest of you.
Oh man, these days.
Yeah, These Days is one of mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Gentle on My Mind.
Yeah.
And Just
Well,
As I Am.
See, what people don't know is when we cut this record, we cut 24 songs. So there will be a part 2 of this coming out hopefully within the next several months. And so I'm trying to remember everything that's on the first record versus the second one. So
it's hard. One of my favorites has got to be I'll Go to My Grave Loving You.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we decided that we were going to record that, we all, of course, love the Statler brothers. We spent 21 years with the Statlers, and we all feel so blessed to get to sing with him because just having such an iconic voice to get to
Royalty.
sing with, it's
Yeah.
really special. And then to get to kind of recreate that song with him, it's a special thing. So that's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
We love them all though.
And then Don Reed of the Statler Brothers, he came down, did the interview portion of the video that we recorded at the Grand Ole Opry. And it was so nice to have him there to kind of have his input and his stamp of approval, I guess you might say, because he just did such a great job on the interview. And knowing his background, where he came from, we were together for 21 years, and now him coming full circle to come down here and be with us and take his time out of his retirement. And they've been retired for over 20 years. And for him to do that, it was really special to me. And I know it was special to these guys.
Oh, man.
It just meant a lot. Really did.
For sure. Now, I could easily spend this whole time with any one of you and just dig into the rich history that each of you have in the music business. So I do want to ask each of you like an individual question. Jimmy, I'll start with you. I grew up watching you as the part of the Statler Brothers on the Statler Brothers show every Saturday night on TNN. Me and my grandma, we watched it, and I just have so many good memories from that time. And that show brought so many good laughs, and I always looked forward to it. So I want to know, what was one of your favorite memories working together with Harold, Phil, and Don?
Oh my gosh. I have so many favorite memories. But one that really sticks out to me is when we had, oh gosh. Well, what sticks out to me mostly is our gospel segment that we used to do at the end of the show. And we had, Mr. Bill Walker, who was the Bill Walker Orchestra, that did all the music for us. And Bill Walker would come over and get on the piano. He always had his back turned to the audience. And we did that on purpose because we wanted people to think, guess who it was. And people were always trying to guess who that was. And then finally people figured it out. But we would end the night, every night, with the gospel song. And I remember one time, especially Jerry Lee Lewis came and did our show. And we were happy that he was coming, but at that time it was kind of like we didn't know if he was going to show up or not, and all this stuff, Anyway, he comes to do the show, and we were, of course, so happy to meet him. He was happy to meet us and everything. We got out and practiced this one song that we did. It was going to be Canaan's Land, and we practiced it and ran through the rehearsal. And that night we came on with Jerry Lee Lewis, and he said he started playing another song. It was totally different than what we rehearsed.
Oh, no.
And so we were singing Canaan's Land, and he was playing another song, and somehow or another we made it work. I don't know.
Wow.
And when he finished, he hit the last note, and how he does that, ring up, and he said, Canaan's Land. and he kicked the stool across the stage, and we were like, well, should we do it over? And Harold said, no, don't touch it. Leave it.
That's terrible. I bet you can find it on YouTube.
Oh, probably so.
I need to look
But
that
that
up.
was one of my favorite memories of it. Yeah.
That's so cool. So Bradley, we actually had the opportunity to meet briefly at the Dove Awards back in 2018. And I've really loved all of the songs that you've recorded on your albums as well. Who are some artists that really inspired you to pursue music?
Oh my goodness. The Oak Ridge Boys, I have to say, the Oak Ridge Boys, I've been friends with those guys pretty much my whole life. And they put me on national television when I was 10 years old on Nashville Now, singing with them. And that, I point to that as kind of a defining moment in my life when I guess realized that I could do this on a professional level, even that young, just realizing that you could actually pursue something you love so much. The Oaks have inspired me and influenced me in a lot of, not just musically, but as people too, the kind of people they are.
Yeah.
Musically, as far as my vocal style, I'd have to say Merle Haggard is my #1 influence on my singing.
No kidding.
As far as yeah. I mean, just when it comes to vocal tone, I always loved the great singers of country music, the Haggard and Jones and Vern Gosdin, Keith Whitley. Keith Whitley was a huge influence on me. I got to meet Keith actually the night that we did Nashville Now, That was 2 months before Keith passed away. We did Nashville Now in March of '89, and he died in May. He influenced me, and what's crazy about that, I didn't even know at the time how much people like that would wind up influencing me like they did. But Keith Whitley, Vern Gosden, so many great singers down through the years that I've tried to take just a little bit of each of those folks, what they did, and turn into my own style. And so I'm so thankful to have grown up and been exposed to that many real and great singers down through the years. You know, all of that kind of has made me and my style what it is today. Thank you for saying.
Yeah, for sure. And I can totally, like, I can hear each of those a little bit, as you mentioned. Like, I can hear a little bit of each of them when I listen to your songs and your singing. So that's really, really cool.
And you know what, Kelly, the Oak Ridge Boys, for example, the one thing I love about them is that the fact that they are still going strong. I think 50 years. They've been doing that for 50 years. And that group has their own story too. I mean, you got Richard, who sang with Elvis, and you got all those guys still out there on the stage. In fact, they're going to be here in my neck of the woods here in Central Florida next month for the Strawberry Festival. So I'm going to go see them for a second year in a row. So I'm excited about that. Glad that you mentioned that.
Those guys, and I have to say this, I mean, like I said, I was 9, 10, 11 years old. We've been in their fan club for years, but for those guys, they were at the height of their career at that time. For them to take time and to give attention and time to a 10-year-old kid, you know, who just loved to sing, that's influenced me, and still to this day, they're well aware of what we're doing. We're all big friends and still fans of them. And I appreciate them for taking the time that they did with me and still do, and the support that they've given in my life and still give all of us. And that's something that I think, I know for myself, I try to take that and always remember that for other people, you know, whether it's friends that we remember how they impacted my life, and hope that we can do the same for somebody somewhere, you know.
And that's really true friendship within the music community, when you have the seasoned veteran artists investing their times in the younger artists. And Mike, I remember I saw you a couple of weeks ago with Ricky Skaggs here in Clearwater, Florida, and Ricky shared from the stage that when he was about the same age as Bradley was, he said Bill Monroe had him up on stage and gave him his mandolin to play. And I know that was a life-altering thing for a 10-year-old Ricky Skaggs, who, of course, we all know went on to be a mandolin prodigy and one of the legends in country music. And it's always good when you have a veteran kind of take a young person aside and do that, and look at how those seeds have grown. I mean, Bradley, look at where you're at now. I mean, you can pinpoint that time in your life when the Oaks took you aside when you were 10 years old, and now look where you're at. It's amazing.
It's all part of God's plan. You may not realize it at the time.
That's right.
But it's all, I mean, every bit of it is just all God's plan working its way out in your life. And I'm very thankful for it.
Absolutely. So, Mike, you've worked with so many wonderful artists over the years, and have had a hand in writing some really great songs. Is there someone that you'd love to work with that you haven't had the opportunity to yet, or someone that you wish you could have worked with?
Well, I mean, you know, I've always loved Vince Gill, and I love how he writes. I love everything he writes.
I thought you were gonna say Lady Gaga.
You know, I would have loved to write
He's still a young man. He could still do that.
We have to. No, I would love to write a song with Ricky one day. Ricky's a great writer. I don't know. I've just been blessed to work with some great artists like Craig Morgan. You know, Craig is such a great writer. Jimmy is top of the list. I mean, I've written songs with Jimmy, and he's just took the pen. Well, we feel like the Lord takes the pen.
That's right.
But you know, with somebody like Jimmy, that's just so talented, writing, you know, and singing, it's it's just awesome to get to do this, you know.
Yeah.
That's it.
Absolutely. So, Ben, you and your family have built such an awesome legacy as the Isaacs with your mom and your sisters. You all definitely have a great way of meeting people where they are with your songs, but also take it a step further with the Isaacs Foundation and the work that it does through the Fishman Isaacs Israel Initiative and being involved with the Bridge Ministry. Can you tell us what it means to you to be able to connect with people not only through music, but also helping to meet their needs with food and shelter and sharing God's love with them through the foundation's outreaches?
Absolutely. You know, I feel like as a Christian and a believer that we're put on earth to take care of other people. You know, we find, I think that's another reason that God allows us to go through things, is so we can help other people through things. And you know, the Isaacs Foundation we've given hundreds of thousands of dollars away to needy people, not only in the United States, but in Israel. Through the Fishman Isaacs Israel Initiative, our goal in doing that, we felt like God was telling us through that to bless the beginning and the end. So we sponsor an orphanage there, which is right now is completely overran because of the Ukraine war and all the stuff that's going on right now. And also there are still about 140,000 Holocaust survivors that were maybe kids when the Holocaust was going on and may have been given medicines that they could never have kids, so they're just alone. To be able to just go in and give money to them, and just we try our best to do a concert for them every time we go to Israel. We have another one planned for this spring that we're going to go, and we'll bring in as many as 200 or 300 Holocaust survivors, bust them in for dinner, and take care of them like royalty, and then go do a concert for them, and also bring as many of the kids as we can bring too. But not only that, we also bless their protectors, the lone soldiers. And if you don't know what a lone soldier, it's a long story, but in Israel, every soldier from the age of 18 to 20 has to serve, and every person has to serve in the military from 18 to 20, no matter what, you know, they're there. So you always find them around, and just bring those in and sing to them, and give them gift cards for food or whatever, just to let them know everybody goes to Israel to take. We want to go to Israel to give. And you know, that's kind of been our motto through that. And then through the Bridge Ministry in Nashville, the Bridge feeds 4,000 kids a week and about 1,200 homeless people every week. And then not only that, but they minister, make sure that they have necessary toothbrushes and stuff, just hygiene stuff. So we believe in all that. You know, we learned that about 4 or 5 years ago. And when we really learned what giving was, is when we feel like God really started blessing our family in ways that, you know, you can't outgive God. And if your heart's in the right place doing it, then you'll be blessed.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
And Kelly, that's you know, just the Isaacs in general. I have to say that, you know, me personally, when I first got into gospel music, Christian music, my wife Shannon was actually the one who introduced me to Southern gospel music, and we had gone to a homecoming tour, and the Isaacs, you guys were on tour with that, and one of my wife's all-time favorite songs, sadly I lost her a couple of years ago to COVID, but one of her absolute favorite songs was I Know Who Holds Tomorrow. And you guys did that song, of course, in the Living Years record, and we even had somebody sing that at her funeral. But you guys, out of all of the Southern gospel artists that she had grown up listening to, the Gaithers, everyone, she said that the Isaacs were the ones that she enjoyed listening to the most, because you guys would choose and write songs that would minister to her personally, and you know how she grew up. So I just want to thank you and your sisters and your mom for everything you guys have done music wise over the years, because I know that had a tremendous impact on my wife, especially, you know, that song. She actually, when she heard that song, we get pre-releases all the time. So when we got a pre-release of that record, she heard that, she cried. She says, I've never heard such a beautiful rendition of this song before. that I hear the Isaacs sing on this one. So Ben, to you and your sisters and your mom, thank you so much for that song and for all the music that you put out over the years. I appreciate it.
And thank
Yeah.
you. And let me just say this, we choose to do this kind of music because we have, again, it goes back to the way we were raised. We were raised in church and trying our best to be something that somebody needs. And it's the stories like that have allowed our family, and, because it gets hard when you travel, I mean, me personally, I've been on the road for 50 years with my mom and my sisters. That's not easy. It requires a special anointing. But you know what? It's the stories that help us to go, okay, people get what our heart is, So thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Thank you.
As a fan of this guy and of their family, I've been hearing the Isaacs for years and years and years, and still to this day, have grown to know them as people and as dear friends. Still to this day, every time I hear them perform live, it sends chills through me.
Yes, it is.
They have a way of touching you at the depths of your soul that very few can do that.
Yeah.
It's just an anointed thing, and
Thank you, brother.
We're still trying to figure out why he sings with three beautiful women. He wants to sing with three ugly guys.
Well, I finally had to join a group that would listen to me.
Bill Cody said something yesterday that I thought was hilarious. He said, with these guys, every now and then you might win an argument. With your family, you never win an argument.
And we all
I was about to say that.
make it in this business.
That's right. Yes.
I was about to say that, Ben. I was going to say, how much input do you actually have when you have three women like kind of telling you what to do? Because it's the same in my house. I had my wife and I had my three daughters, so it's like
I am the most micromanaged man you've ever met in your life. It's fun, you're talking about honoring people, with who we are. And I say this, we are huge fans of each other. We really, really love each other. And, people ask us all the time, oh my gosh, you guys look like you have so much fun on stage. Is it that much fun? I was thinking, if you really want to have fun with us, go to dinner with us.
Yeah.
When we're not in front of people, because we have a blast. But, we're thankful, in honoring, Jimmy. Jimmy, Jimmy has always had a huge influence in a career. And I'm just thankful that he's letting us ride his coat.
Well, we all, with the music that you hear on these projects, we weave ourselves in and out of the different genres through the years, through all the songs that we've known through the years. We do the same with people. We've been involved with so many different people through the years that we've kind of weaved ourselves into the fabric of what's going on, what has gone on, and what is going on now in the music business. And we feel very, very fortunate for that, because we feel like we're bringing something along that was so beautiful and so wonderful at one time, and all of a sudden we're making things new again. And bringing a lot of young kids. I know a lot of young kids are coming to these concerts and and wanting to hear it and just being involved and soaking it up. And well, I tell you what, it is. We do genuinely love each other.
Yes.
And
It's amazing to me, to look back. I had a friend not too long ago tell me something. He said, life is really about two things. It's about experiences and relationships. And looking back over how we each met each other, and then, all this many years later, here we sit together as part of a group. It really lets you see there's so much bigger of a plan. God's plan is so much bigger and better than ours, and this just feels like that this has had God's hand all over it from the very start. And we're all thankful for that, because it's it's a blessing to get to work with people who are the best at what they do, and these guys are just, but they're the best people, and that's what matters. That's what matters.
Bradley, you too. You think about back on all the things growing up, and as being as young kids, trying to get into the music business. And when you realize that you really do make sacrifices along the way, if you have the love for it. And I always tell young people trying to get in the business, I said, if you're in it for the money, you might as well forget it. If you really love it, you go through starvation times.
Yeah.
We've all been through those times where, and it's hard. Sometimes, when you're going out, sometimes you don't make anything, drive for miles and miles and miles, and you don't make much money.
Yeah.
And those times are hard, but then I think back on it and I think I didn't let that bother me. I was like, man, I did something I love tonight.
Yeah.
I did something that's genuinely a blessing and I love so much. And I would do it for free. I would, and did it for free a lot. And that's hard, but man, like I said, we've all come to this right now. And I know that each one of us would do it for free, but thank God we do get paid. Thank you.
That's right.
I mean, but that's, even we've been spending the last couple of days, doing interviews and doing things. And like today, I've found that even when we're not in the middle of playing songs for people or doing what we're here to do, we're over here in the corner picking and singing.
Yeah.
We're still doing it because that's what we love to do genuinely, and just so thankful to get to do it with these guys.
Ben probably said it best. This is our purpose. We really found our purpose, and I think along the way didn't even what our purpose was, but we see the vision of it now so clearly, that this is our purpose, to bring hope to people out there. There's people out there in this world that are suffering, I know I go to some nursing homes every once in a while just to go in and visit, and I see these people that are sitting there just seem so hopeless when you walk in and your heart breaks, and if they watch something, they see you on TV and it just sparks something. Somebody that might have been sitting there and they say, well, they haven't even talked in so long, and then you walk up and they go and they point at you like this, and all of a sudden they're trying to communicate, and you go, when you touch somebody's life like that, I mean, that's God. That's nothing but God. And that's and it really makes me realize that doing the right thing. We're bringing joy to somebody.
Yeah.
And can I just add to that just real quick? And we'll talk. You ask us one question, we'll talk for an hour about everything that you want to know about.
Yeah.
Just be patient, we'll cover it.
And maybe things you don't want to know.
Yeah, right. But just a prime example of that, my sister Becky, December the 15th, had a head-on collision. A guy hit her head on and they were both doing about 45 to 50 mile an hour. So in all rights, Becky should have passed away. Ended up breaking both of her legs, broke her ribs, and she was in the hospital for a few weeks after surgeries. And I found more purpose in that, in the music side, because I would sit there with Becky, and when people would walk in and take their time to come in and sing to her, she would bawl her eyes out because she knows how important that time is, and how the songs that they sing, that they choose to sing, helps get them through those things. And I mean, I've heard the Gaithers talk about this for years, how people would be, in hospital beds and turn on the TVs and see those songs and be a part of those rooms. That's why, to me, music is so important to me, and the songs. So, I mean, you never know what song's going to touch somebody. It could be Gentle on My Mind because of somebody lost their wife and that was their favorite song together. Who knows?
Right.
So I've gotten calls from people, thinking about one lady in particular that called me after seeing my first Gaither special up in Boston, Massachusetts. And she was bedridden, couldn't get out of bed, had been for many years. And she said, these Gaither TV specials are what I live for. I love them. And things like that let you know, so many things let you know that this is so much bigger than just music. It's about a whole lot more than just music is the vessel and the thing that God gives us, but it's about a whole lot more than that.
A purpose.
It's our purpose.
A purpose.
And also we get asked sometimes, there are certain people that will say, hey, why don't you do all gospel music? Or why don't you do all country music? Why don't you? And we always say, we do music about life. And sometimes country music is about real life. People suffer, you know, about someone heartbreak, it's heartache, it's heartbreaking. And then you can do a gospel song and it gives people hope and it says, you know, this is the way out to something that you might be suffering from, depression or whatever like that. We feel like with our music, it's a journey through life. And we always leave them with hope because there are people out there who have suffered that might have a connection with a song that we might sing that makes them feel like, hey, these people, they know how I feel. And then all of a sudden we'll come up with a gospel song like Just As I Am.
Yeah.
And then Just As I Am. And when people hear it, it's a message in that. And it's a message of hope. And that's what we want to give with our music. You know, we want to let people know that we're with them in the ditches and the valleys of life. And we're also show them hopefully how to get on a mountaintop and look up and see where God is and be real close to him, because we need that today. And I think that's why people love it, because we put forth hopefully the love that God put in our heart for people. I've always said my biggest gift in life, and I know these guys feel the same way, is our love for people, first and foremost. And we genuinely love those people. And I think they feel it because they pick up on it. They know if it's fake.
That's right.
And they know if it's real. And you know, when we all stick our hand out, shake someone's hand, we usually pull them in and hug them because that's how we feel toward people. We're just very thankful people that God has let us do what we love to do. Very thankful for that.
Amen. And Jimmy, you touched on like music for me over the last year and a half has been therapy. I'm a guitarist myself. I play guitar for 25 years, and actually I've got pull this up here. This guitar here is a PRS. It was my dream guitar. Out of my price range for the most part, but my wife knew that I wanted it, and she actually had it on layaway when she passed away. And I tell you what, whenever I'm down, I come out to my quote unquote man cave here and I plug my guitar in and play. And I tell you what, music, my guitar has offered me a therapy and calming thing that nothing else in my life could, on the exception of the Lord being a big part of my life and getting me past what I've had to go through. But like you said, it's like, it's something to everyone. The hope that it gives, the hope that these songs that you guys do gives to people that really need it. I mean, you guys can all agree with me that this world needs Jesus more today than it ever has before. I mean, you look around our country here, it's like, it's gotten crazy. I mean, I remember, you know, even back in the 80s, it's so much different now than it is now. And it's like, we need the Lord, and it's guys like you, people like me and Kelly going out there and telling people about Jesus, pointing people to people who tell the audience about Jesus. That's what we need. And guys, I'm thankful for not only you guys, but everybody who's out there putting that message of hope, that there is hope today. Even though this world is crazy, there still is hope in Jesus. There's still hope that we put our priority in the Lord. That's where our future lies.
We went through a strange time the last 3 years. I remember when the whole country shut down, you know, because of COVID. And I don't know, I didn't know what to do. Like a lot of people didn't know what to do. And I remember thinking, it was like, I just felt like God was trying to tell us something. Yeah. And we really needed to listen. And I just opened myself up and opened my heart up to what God wanted to say. And there wasn't anything we could do about anything. But I knew that all of a sudden I wasn't singing. I was sitting at home. And I found myself, I started getting on a computer to do a song a day. I did a little thing, a song a day for about 3 months.
Jimmy Jams.
And it was going over. And I thought, well, this is going to be over in a couple of weeks, you know?
Yeah.
And it just kept going and going and going. And then all of a sudden I was looking into the computer and I just felt this emptiness and I realized that what made us what we are are those people that are sitting in front of us every night. Because I feel something that I don't feel sitting by myself playing, I can play to myself all these guitars and singing and stuff like that, but I don't feel alive until I told my wife, I said, I feel like I'm dying.
Yep.
If I don't get out in front of people and sing and play and express what I feel and get the message out there about God, I feel like I'm dying.
Yeah.
And that's the way I felt. And I was so happy when we started coming back. And I feel like we're coming back to a certain point, but I still feel like you do. We need God with so much. When you're watching TV, I can't understand to watch TV anymore, but I do to keep up with things. But when you see the things that are happening, we really do need to read our Bibles, get on our knees and pray harder than we ever have for our country, for
Amen.
our people that we love, for everybody, because people have blinders on. It's like they don't see what's going on. I mean, I have close friends. I have family members, some that you talk to. If you mention God, they just like, they shut you off, And I'm not doing it in a bad way. I'm just saying, hey, but all we can do is live as examples, And that's what we're trying to do with our music and with our lives. Live as examples.
Mike said something just now that brought something in my mind. We did a Gaither event last year, and Ben, you'll probably remember this. Bill Gaither is so good at taking songs and applying messages that are in his songs to everyday real life and things that are going on in today's world. And he got to talking about, and of course it was a new song that they were about to sing, but he said, this world can be a dark place. He said, but as Christians, we're meant to be the light of the world, and he said, always remember, the darker the night, the brighter the light. And that has stuck with me. What we're supposed to be, and that's what we try to be and try to give people through songs, through the way we are with people, and I'm thankful that people can genuinely see with us our love for each other and love for people, because I think that's what people need so much of today.
Right. We believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I've just been sitting here like soaking all this in. I love it. I love these kind of conversations, and like you guys have continued sharing, and that's just, thank you so much for doing that and taking the time to go beyond what we were originally planning on talking about, because it's definitely, I love when God can just take the direction of the conversations and turn it into so much more. And like Jimmy, you had mentioned like the connection that you feel to the audience when you're performing live and everything. And for me personally, I have been going to concerts since I was 3 years old. So the year and a half that there was no concerts happening, that I could not go to, that was like, man, I really miss live music. I watched the live streams and stuff, but it was not the same as being there, feeling the electricity in the air and just getting to connect with the artists and everything. And so when I got to go, the first show back was actually for King and Country, and man, was that ever like the best one to kind of kickstart it back in, because it was just like it felt like a complete restart for me. And I've been so blessed to have been to several since then, the past couple of years. So I can really understand what you're saying there, because I feel that too as a fan going to shows, not even being on stage. And it kind of leads into one of the last questions that I had for you guys is, are there any Brothers of the Heart concerts in the future, maybe, or anything that we can think of?
You can get on my website, jimmyfortune.com, or Bradley's website, I think. And we have our dates coming up right around Easter. We got 5 dates, I think, down at Roy Feek's place.
We start out in Franklin, North Carolina on a Tuesday, and go from there down to Green Cove Springs, Florida, for a fair on a Wednesday, and then come up to Montgomery, Alabama on Thursday, and then wind up for Friday and Saturday before Easter in Columbia, Tennessee at Rory Feek's Homestead Hall. And so that's a little mini tour that we've got. And then we've also got dates in Shipshewana, Indiana right now, and I think
Mexico. Utah.
New Mexico, yeah, we're all over the place,
Yeah.
you know.
Around.
And we have some private things that we're doing
Yep.
as well. We knew when we started this, it was gonna be tough we genuinely started it just to create some music that we thought, man, people would love to have this. We had no idea, honest to God, I mean, we're thankful for it, but we had no idea it was gonna turn into what it has.
Yeah.
And God has really, really blessed it
sure.
in so many ways. And we know that by the people come up and say, man, I just love it.
Yeah.
First it was brotherly love, now it's brothers of the heart, and they caught on real quick, and
Yeah.
and so it'll always be brothers of the heart from now on. I know that because it's really it's welded itself into who we are, you know.
Well, I love that, and I will definitely be keeping an eye out to see if there's any shows I can get to, because it'd be so fun to get to see you guys.
You come on and anytime you want to, we'll make a place for you.
Yep.
And bring your guitar when you come. I might put you up on stage, let you pick with us a little bit. What do you think about that?
Sounds good. That would be awesome.
Like to hear you play, man.
Well,
Appreciate
thank
that.
you.
Well, guys, we really,
Yeah, thanks.
we really appreciate you guys joining us today. And like Kelly said, we went over what we thought, but the Lord led the conversation and was able to give us a lot more than what we originally intended. But guys, I really appreciate this. And for those that are listening in on our podcast or watching it on Kingdom Builder TV, Brothers of the Heart, Listen to the Music is available now. And it's got, if you go on the digital side, it's actually got some live tracks in the deluxe edition, but it is available now. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. And we greatly appreciate the time and look forward to seeing you guys in the future out on the road and on another record.
Thank y'all
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
God bless you.
We couldn't do this without you.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for what you do for us and others too.
To everybody that supports our music and we can't thank you enough.
Yeah.